Hello, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today we're going to do a 3-for-1, simple stamping all the way through avid stamping with a little lace. I bought the stamp because I just love this image, but I hadn't played with it. So let's get started. The only inks I'm going to be using is Memento and Melon Mambo. And I'm really only using this stamp, and just a little note to say hello from the stamp set. Okay, this is the first card. It's truly as simple stamping as you can get. It's a card base. And a 1/2 inch strip of Whisper White. And I did add a little bow there. Technically that makes it not simple stamping, but in the dimensionals, but it just needed it. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to use the Melon Mambo ink. And we're going to use this stamp here. This way. A little bit easier not to get the edges like I did here. Okay, then I'm just going to stamp it, and it's over in this section here, just a little bit off to the left. Doesn't really matter totally the orientation, I just picked this area and stamped it. And it's a big stamp, so just make sure it has time to transfer that ink to your card. Perfect. Now you could just stamp the greeting across there. I did try that and I didn't like it. It just looked messy. So I took a strip. It's actually a scratch piece of paper, and the Memento ink, the sentiment, and I stamped on that. Perfect. Oh, I was so worried I wasn't going to get that nice because it took me like 5 times. Alright, then I'm going to bring in my snips. And I'm just going to cut a couple little like that. I'm going to close the sink till I get to the next one, or I'm going to end up sticking something in it. And I'm going to bring in the crinkled seam binding. I'm going to tie a bow real fast. Let me try that again. For some reason that one side got all twisted. There we go. Nice tiny bow. Come on. A little bit more. Thank you. I like to tie it while it's still on my spool, that way I waste less ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to bring in some dimensionals and pop a couple on the back of this. I'm just trying to make sure that the straight edge kind of matches. Okay. Backs off. Just pop your nail in, it pops those up. these edges up so that they come right off. This will go here. Where do I want it? I'm going to put it here. And then I'll bring in a glue dot to add my bow. Just a tiny bit more. Alright, there's card number 1. There's the one we just made together. Here's the one I did previous. Okay. This is card number 2. Just clean up just a little bit here. Has a lot of the same elements, just in a slightly different layout. Okay, so we have a card base. If I can get it out of here, which is thick, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I have a piece of melon mambo, 4 1/4 by 5.5. I have a piece of whisper white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a 1/2-inch strip for the sentiment. I have a little strip, which is like 1/4 inch of the melon mambo. And then I have a element from In Good Taste Elements. Okay. And Post-it notes, regular square size Post-it notes. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is bring in a piece of scratch paper. And on this piece, we're going to do all of our stamping. We're going to first take a Post-it note. If you want it to be totally straight, use a T-square. One end of mine got broke off, so let's move it up just a hair. Alright. And it's going to be about 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch from the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. And even then I didn't get it straight, so let's just eyeball it. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to come in with the stamp. And again, the Melon Mambo ink. We're going to stamp a background. We're going to stamp right over this. So we're going to just start in one corner. We're going to rotate the stamp. Make a very simple background. Stamp this whole back. Here. Need a little bit of something there on the edge. Okay. Don't have to really think about it, but I tend to get a little too finicky. Alright, now leave that posted on. We're going to bring in one of our finger daubers. Ink it up, just pounce it on your ink pad. Going to tap it onto your scratch paper just to smooth it out a little bit, get the heaviest of the ink off. And then we're going to start on our paper and we're going to ink around the edge of this to make so that it shows more of a frame. Well, let me show you the difference. So if you lift it up, you can see there's a white frame there. But when you've inked it, it actually makes it look like there's like it's a separate piece of paper. Just make sure you're holding that paper down. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Then I'm going to also take that same dauber and I'm going to ink around the edges. Okay, you can pop this paper off. We've just a little bit there, but that's all right. Let's see if I can come in with the eraser and erase it. This is just a regular eraser. Some of it. Alright, now we're going to come in with this one. Ink it up. This time we want this element down in this corner. I'm going to stamp it in that square that we masked off. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to bring in that 1/2 inch strip for a sentiment. Okay, we're going to do the same technique as before. Stamp it down. Perfect. Awesome. Bring in our snips. Snip the ends just the same way as we did on the first one. Okay. Now we can assemble this. Let's put some lids on. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and mount this piece to the melon mambo, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's the same size as the front of your card. So it's a 1/4 inch, so you're going to have an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay. Bring this, turn this over, and bring in those dimensionals. Stick the sentiment down here. Okay, we're going to take this little strip. I'm going to make sure this angle's a little bit more. A bit larger of an angle. Cut the angles on the end of that. This is going to get glued to the paper just underneath. You want it to hang out this end a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to come in with that element. Put a little bit of Tombow on the back of it. That in underneath here. Our bow. Should have made the bows previously, but it works. We'll get there eventually. Trim the ends. Add a glue dot. Oh, it's stuck to me. Alright. Bow. Okay, then we're going to mount this to the front of our card. Okay, there's card number 2. It's the one I did previously. And this is card number 3. Okay, so for card number 3, well, let me pause it and pick up a little bit. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so for this card, we have a scrap of the melon mambo. I have a 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece that we're going to stamp on for the front of the card. I have a 3 by 4 1/4. I think I wrote 4 1/2. No, it is 4 1/2 because it's 1/4 inch larger. Each layer is 1/4 inch larger. So this is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So this is 3 by 4 1/2. This is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 of black. That's to layer under there. I have a piece for the inside, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have a piece of the melon mambo, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. We'll score and fold it at 4 1/4. Okay. Okay. Let's place this one aside, and these two aside. And I'm also going to need couple of punches. They're not mandatory. I have a 1/2 inch hole punch. This one I'm just using for the little hole punch. So let's go ahead and do that out of our scrap, and then we can put those punches off my desk. So I'm just punching a 1/2 inch circle there. Then for the tag punch, you can use really any hole punch. Because I just want that little hole. Okay, so we'll put these aside then. Alright, now on the front of this one, we're going to bring in that little flower, and we're going to stamp the background. You don't have to worry about the center as much because we are going to cover it up. We want to make sure we get the whole outside edge, so go ahead and just stamp your background basically like we did on the white one, except we're doing it tone on tone, same Melon Mambo ink on Melon Mambo cardstock. Again, just turn your stamp, get varied images, varied parts of the image. Do want to make sure that I'm going off the page a little bit. That should work. Let me put one more here just to be safe, okay? So we've done that part. Right, now we're going to bring in the 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece. Come on. I'm going to bring in this stamp. Pick that up. This time we want it to be this way. And so we're going to go ahead and stamp that. And again, it's orientated a little bit over onto the left side. So the bulk of the pattern is on that 3rd line. And if you're dividing it into thirds, okay? Then on this one, I actually stamped directly onto the card. Let's see if we can get it to work. It might not work. Okay. Perfect. Stamp it onto here so that I can show you an alternative if we decide to do that. Again, this is just a 1/2 inch strip, just same as I've been using on all the others. Okay, put the ink away. Done. Oh no, I need this one still. Okay, actually I probably could get away with just the ink that's on it, but I'm going to take the inside piece. And ink it up. I'm going to stamp it off. Stamp it right in the center. That's makes the image, but it's a little bit lighter, so you can write over it if you need to. Okay, now let's layer this card up. We've got all the stamping done, and this piece is going to go inside. Alright. Then we're going to bring in our piece that we stamped, and the 3 by 4.5 inch piece of melon mambo. This is going to get put on the layered on that. Okay, center it up. Then we'll center that on a 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 inch piece of black. Turn this over and put dimensionals on the back of it. It's a long span. I'm going to put a couple more. Take those backs off. Okay, center that on the front of the card. Okay, we're going to bring in those dots. The little one is going to get adhered to the center of this flower. Come on. This one is going to get a dimensional on it. So, placed on the center of this flower. I'm going to bring in holiday rhinestones. And I'm going to place one of these red ones on this one. One here. Then just for continuity, to move your eye around the page, I'm going to put one over here. Okay. Now let's see what this would look like with this on it. I think it's too wide. But let's try it. Maybe if I trim it up a little bit. Pop that up on there. Let's bring in the trimmer. Make it thinner and see if we like it. That side. Let's trim this side. dimensionals. This is what you would do if you stamped your sentiment and it didn't come out right. You would put this on top. I think I can get away with it. Make it over there a little bit more. Like that. Okay, now, I already tied a bow. For the sake of time, bow's going to go right here. Alright, well there's the card we just made together, and I did add that extra step there. Here's the one I did previous. So there's the Avid, Casual, and the Beginner Stamper. Well, thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.